We are here, Facebook Live. No viewers at the moment, but we will give people time to show up because I know there are people who really can't wait to listen to the discussions that are brought here to Facebook Live around resilience, basically. So looking at the positive of it, it's all about resilience, bouncing back from any challenges that you may have. Resilience is very important. So I'm excited to have you here on the show tonight, Yvonne
Hello,
Cater.
Jamila.
How
Thank you
are
for
you?
having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm excited to have you. Like I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm excited. I'm very excited because you are someone who has been a great inspiration to me. Very inspirational.
Well,
You
thank you. That's very kind
are
of you to say that.
you are amazing, and I can't thank God enough for Him putting us in each other's lives. You care for me. Um, you care for me, and I want to share your story with everyone because you're an amazing person. So right now, just I like to make sure that the viewers are aware of that the show is on. And so I connect everyone to Facebook, and we have viewers now. So I want to welcome the viewers again. And those who are viewing, if you could please um, love the post and also share it to every group that you're in because these discussions can help anyone, everyone. And we want to make sure that we get this information out to people. The purpose is to educate people, to empowering people, and to encourage people to learn more about trauma and resilience, and to connect those that they are connected to seek help or just be that help, be that person to love on that person, that stable person. So, Mrs. Carter, okay, Yvonne
Yes,
Brown,
Jamila.
Mrs. Carter. And I already said your name. If you could share, what do you do and why did you accept this invite to Bounceback Wednesdays?
Okay. Well, you did say my name, Yvonne Carter. And to answer your question about what I do, I'll tell you the real truth, and then I'll tell you what I do.
Okay.
So the real truth is, God willing, I do whatever I want.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Yep.
God, but currently at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
I'm working as an RN, but
Okay.
I have done so many things
Okay.
because God has allowed me to do whatever I desire, whatever I ask to do, I'm allowed to do it.
Okay.
So currently, I wanted to be an RN, and so that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Uh, it's very interesting. You asked me, well, why do you want to? Why are you here? And one, because you invited me, and I didn't really think about sharing my story with anyone because I didn't think it was anything special. I
Mm-hmm.
just do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But you might be right. I might be able to reach out, touch somebody who's in a similar situation. So yeah, so that's why I'm here to see if there's other people who may be going through the same challenges that I've gone through. Maybe give advice on how I've handled that, and then if I'm able to help someone along the way, then I'm happy to do so.
Yes. 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 Yeah, girl, you have a story, girl. You have a
Do
story
I
that
have a
you
story?
oh, girl. You are going to help some people. You really are. I know people. I know people are like, "What is it? What's going on? What's going on?" So, I brought Yvonne on because she is an amazing person. She is actually family. She's like a sister, my sister. It's my first cousin, and hey, Tammy. It's another cousin. Hey,
Hi, Tammy.
Tammy. Her and Auntie Murrow's viewing tonight. But Yvonne has been such an inspiration to me. Yvonne has had, she'll share with you her story, but she was someone who just totally inspired me. I remember she graduated. She went to UC Berkeley, and it was her that exposed me to that. And I remember, or you want to tell what happened, Yvonne, when I went to class with you?
Yes, it's very interesting. I don't quite know how I got stuck babysitting Jamila that day. I had to go to class. And I said, well, I'll just take her with me. And that's what I did. And I think it was a 2.5 hour lecture.
Mhm.
And I think at the time you were like maybe 6 years old. I want to say 6. You think you were about that age?
I think I really don't know. I just
You
however
were 5 or 6.
I remember.
You could write.
Mhm.
And so I said to Jamila, I gave her a pen and paper, and I said, Jamila, whatever you see the teacher write on the board, I want you to write it down. And I'll tell you, by the end of the lecture, Jamila had taken the best notes I had ever seen. I mean, it was literally college level notes. I said, I'm going to take these notes. Thank you. And I ended up using them for my exam. That's how well she wrote. She literally wrote every single thing down. It was amazing. And we walked around the campus, and I showed her all the different buildings, and we had lunch. And I never thought it would inspire her. I was just babysitting at the time, and she was really just absorbing all of that knowledge and just being exposed to higher education. It was just amazing.
That's the piece. So it really was. It's because of you that I was like, oh, I want to attend UC Berkeley, and I still can. So I would love to attend UC Berkeley. And I have an associate's in science degree right now in early childhood education. But I would love to obtain a doctorate. Like I would love Dr. Hanif. Doesn't that sound good? Dr. Hanif. So I just want to get more education, really, because I love sharing information. Yeah. So Mrs. Carter.
You can call me Yvonne.
Yvonne has went through 3 kidney transplants.
3
kidney transplants. And
since the age of 17.
Say it again?
Since the age of 17.
Yeah, so can you go there to that point, to what you were experiencing? It's just thinking about, what were you feeling at the age of 17, hearing that you would need a kidney transplant? Can you recall that? I'm curious.
Oh, yes, I can. And I'll tell you, first, before I recall that, let me just tell you, I always knew God was intervening in all of this. He was instrumental in the whole thing. Mm-hmm. When I look back, I know none of this stuff was coincidence. Mm-hmm. It could have been. It was just so on time that it just couldn't be coincidence. Mm-hmm. So, in the beginning, in high school, I was very athletic. I ran track. I was always kind of a motivated person. I played the instrument. I was in the band. You name it, I was always taking part of something. But I do remember my last senior year, I was feeling a little sluggish, but still kind of myself. I graduated from high school. I went from I don't know if you know this, Jamila, I went from the 8th to the 10th grade, never went to the 9th.
Oh, no, you got skipped. That's cool.
Did you know that? I never went to the 9th. That's why my sister and I graduated together, because I went up a grade. So I was always kind of a go-getter like that. Mm-hmm. However, there was a guy in the neighborhood. I had just graduated from high school, named Roosevelt. I don't even know if he's on the line, but anyway, he worked at Charlie Brown's, and I wanted to work at Charlie Brown's. Now, this is how God's instrumental. I ended up working at Charlie Brown so I could work with him, and I hated working with him because he had me peeling potatoes and shrimps and everything. But he had me work on the slicer, and I sliced my finger. Ooh. Yes, this one right here. I sliced my finger. Okay. It wasn't a big deal. Probably could have put a Band-Aid on it. But because the crew, Tina, my brother, my sister, all my friends, wanted me to get the Bonneville, which was my dad's car, so we could joyride, they said, ask Dad if you could go to Oak Knoll Hospital. Just to see. And that way, we know it'll only take a minute to bandage this finger. Then we're going to take the car over to San Francisco. See, we were already up to no good. We're going to take it to San Francisco. And I'll tell you, When I got there at the hospital, they wouldn't let me go, Jamila. And
Mm.
I'm like, for a cut finger, they kept me because my blood pressure, which should be for a young athlete, maybe 110 over 60.
Mhm.
Mine was 220 over 190.
Jesus Christ. Woo. Okay.
And then they ran tests and realized I had kidney failure. I still didn't understand at that time what that meant.
Mhm.
But this is where I think God was instrumental. Had I not worked, had I not wanted to work over at Charlie Brown's to be next to Roosevelt, I would have never cut my finger. If I had never cut my finger, I would have just died of kidney failure and not know. If everybody didn't want to joyride to go to Oak Knoll, you see how all the things were lined up.
Yeah, we never see it. When
You know what I'm saying?
we in it, we don't see it.
That's right. I cut my first. I wanted to work over at Charlie Brown's. Then I cut my finger. Then I wanted to joyride. Then I went to the hospital only because we wanted to joyride. Then they came up with the whole thing about the kidney thing.
Mhm.
They said had I not come in, I may have had maybe 3 months or less.
Wow.
But all these things were lined up.
Mm.
Nothing that I did. It just fell into place.
Mm.
So, being young, I wasn't quite sure what that meant. And even when I was at the hospital with the cut finger, and they're like, "We're going to keep you," and I had my sisters walking back, and my Tina Ray, everybody was like, "What? What? We need to be joyriding. What are you doing?"
Mhm.
Uh, I didn't realize what it really meant until they said, you have kidney failure and your kidneys aren't going to work. It wasn't until maybe 6 months later of being on dialysis, I'm like, "Oh, this is real."
Mm.
And
Mhm.
I'm sick. I'm very sick. You know.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much how it went. And I didn't quite know what that meant to get a transplant or anything at the age of then 19, 18, 19.
Mhm.
But I was very fortunate to get my first one from my brother.
Mhm. Okay.
And and this was before we knew we had kidney failure on my dad's side of the family.
Mhm. Can I say something real
Yeah,
fast? Because I think about family, and I try not to get all emotional. And
don't get emotional, Mimi.
cry, baby. Whoo, whoo.
Woo,
God
Mimi.
has been
Turn
giving
it
me
off, girl.
strength, though. He's been giving me strength. He know I'm a cry, baby. He know it, but ooh, it's just been something just inside of me. That he like, just hold off on them tears, girl. Just don't let them be a sweat, girl. So yeah, you said that your first kidney came from your brother, and we think
Yes.
about like I think about because I was on the phone talking to a friend earlier today about your story, and I was like, man, like thinking about sacrifice, just sacrifice,
Yeah.
family, that's family. Like, and I was talking to my friend, I said, man, I don't even know if I could, man, sacrifice one of my kidneys for anybody. And she was like, man, because she said, I don't know about you. She said, because I get mad and be like, I want my kidney back.
Right. Right. I think a lot of that has to do with how you're brought up. You
mm-hmm,
know, and we were brought up. My dad being a very strong influence in the family, my mom being very supportive. It was very, very apparent to us that that old saying: if one falls in the water, everybody else better come home wet.
mm-hmm,
If somebody gets in the fight with a whole bunch of people, then the other people better come home with bruises. So,
mm-hmm.
in other words, you're down for each other. You are you're there. And I don't know, I often ask myself if it was the other way around, could I had done it.
Mm-hmm,
But the real truth is that I think God gives you strength when you're called upon.
mm-hmm,
So Jesse, and I always kind of knew it would be my brother and not my sister. I knew it wasn't gonna be my sister.
okay, okay,
I
but
just knew that all the stuff that Jesse and I had done as kids,
mm-hmm,
just the rough and tough stuff of
mm-hmm,
hiking in the woods and climbing all over the trees in Germany and all the stuff we had done. I just knew it in my heart that he was going to be a closer match.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, Mr. GI Joe was down for the cause. He was
Okay. 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 And then I think about, because I'm gonna get right, I really am, because this is all about, and I think about with with family, because it was him who he gave just how it trickled down, okay, from family, how it was he gave you his kidney, and then someone gave him a kidney, right?
right. So we were young. My brother was a year under me. in age. And so when I was 18 going on 19, he was 17, his
Mm-hmm.
senior year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't experience kidney failure until he was 35.
Okay. Okay.
So it was many years later. But
Okay.
yet
Yeah.
he actually got one too.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
I think also when you speak of family,
Uh-huh.
because it was, I mean, the amazing thing, and I say amazing because I do think that my family is amazing in many ways, but
Mm-hmm.
one way in particular has to do with our two grandmothers, with
Mm-hmm.
being friends. My father's side of the family, his mother and my grandmother on my mother's side of the family were best friends. And they raised these two families together as one family.
That's how it's supposed to be. That was our
And then
granny,
the
right?
union of
Our
those two families,
granny.
right? The
Yeah.
union of those two families
Mm-hmm.
came out of my mom and dad, and then that even brought the family closer together because now it's like we're all really in-laws now. We're,
That's good. Let's see.
you
Mm-hmm.
see what I mean? I mean, you might have been OC's brother, but the moment mom and dad got married, you were now brother-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
cousin-in-law. You weren't
Mm-hmm.
just the boyfriend of OC or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So out of that, what I found amazing when they found out that this side of the family had renal failure, the next person who came down with it was Aaron, my cousin, first cousin Aaron on my dad's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
But because the two families were brought up together,
Mm-hmm.
Eddie, who is not related to Aaron on my mother's side of the family, gave Aaron a kidney.
Look at that. Family. That's family.
Now, Aaron and Eddie are not blood related, but
Whew.
they're cousins in law.
Mm-hmm.
And it matched. And it lasted 24 years,
Mm.
that kidney transplant. So you see, God is working all of that together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Aaron and Eddie's doing great with one kidney.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't had any problems.
Mm-hmm.
In the best of health ever.
That's great.
So
That's,
yeah.
this is good. This is good. So just the importance of family. So I'm proud of you. What I'm proud of, and that why I wanted to bring you on also is because, and I want to, speaking of family. Hey, Mama, how you doing? How are you? My mom's on.
Hi, Auntie.
So yeah, you kept going. You kept going. So I'm like, I just found out that you had 3 kidney transplants. So when did the second one occur? Because I remember the last one. I was there at the hospital. Wait,
Yes.
you. So I remember crossing that San Francisco bridge. I did not want to cross that bridge. But I was like, I'm doing
Yes. I remember you coming. I
so,
did.
yeah.
That was the third one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, so back in the 80s, the medications for transplants were not that good, unfortunately. And they only had a lifespan of maybe 4 to 5 years. And mine lasted 4.5 years. But then the medications improved. And I got a second donor from a Caucasian male. He was 32 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was at the time 24, maybe.
Okay.
He was a construction worker
Mm-hmm.
and fell off the platform of a 5-story building and had brain damage.
Ooh.
And his family donated his organs.
Oh, that was like. Did you get to meet the family at all? Like,
No, I didn't. And at that time, people weren't really sure if they should reach out to the donor family because they didn't know if that would. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with transplantation, right?
really?
Oh gosh, Jamila, there's a lot. I mean, and a lot of times you feel like, oh yeah, I'm compelled to reach out and say, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that have happened to other families who have done that. For example, donors have said, well, we want some money for this.
Oh,
you know,
really?
yes. Or depending upon the race, I've experienced people and I know people who found out that their son has given a transplant to a other race that they don't really like.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot to reaching out to the
Oh,
donor family because you don't know how they're going to accept you having their family members' organ.
wow. I wish you was living in a better world because I would
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
something happened. Like, I would love to be able to reach out to somebody, or even like, you know, like, how's everything going? I don't know why I'm like that, but it doesn't
No,
sound
I'm like that too.
like
But you know,
yeah, I think
it's hard to know how people will respond, and then you have to also take into consideration people are grieving.
yeah,
The loss.
that too, that
That's
too.
a big one.
Yeah, I know, huh? That too. Yeah, and everybody experiences it, so I can't say I don't know. You know, I don't know. Yes, I wouldn't know. You know, because I'm just thinking like, man, like to know that. You know, yeah, you know. Okay, yeah, you're right. Let me just leave that alone. I'm gonna just leave that.
I don't know what to say to that one. I've not reached out. And,
No,
then the third transplant, and this is when I really felt like, you know, it was clear to me, without a doubt, God was working
hmm.
in my life. I knew that this is not coincidence.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So when I was on dialysis the third time, hey,
mm-hmm,
Auntie's saying hey.
mm-hmm,
When I was on dialysis the third time,
mm-hmm.
I was not happy about it. I
Okay,
was like, what am I doing back here?
okay, okay.
I was really, I mean, really, I had some really good nurses and techs that supported me because I gave them a hard time. I
Mm-hmm,
was not nice about it, and they knew I didn't like it, and I
mm-hmm,
didn't hide it either.
mm-hmm.
But my sister, during that time, had succumbed to a stroke due
Yeah.
to complications of diabetes and obesity. And the way the stroke worked, and then, you know, me being a medical person, I wasn't a nurse at the time, but I was studying. And I'm like, I don't know if she's going to bounce back from this.
Mm-hmm.
And I know my sister, knowing her, always looking after me, would want me to have her kidney if, you know, she was going to be brain dead.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of things that were going on, and the family was feeling like there was part of the family who felt like, you know, don't pull the plug, and another part of the family where Yvonne needs a kid. It was just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the time, my sister, I believe, was 40. She was a African American female. Her creatinine, which is what we measured kidney function was,
Okay.
her creatinine was 0.8, which was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, I didn't get her kidney. She did eventually pass away.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that was I mean, you know, the waiting list is going to be forever. I'm not going to get a kidney. See, doubting myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I just said, forget it. Whatever happens, I'm going to just leave it to God.
Mm-hmm.
And a week later, I got a kidney.
Wow, look at God.
But wait,
Mm-hmm.
here's the miracle. It was
Yeah.
an African American female who suffered a stroke,
Wow, that's
40, who was 40 years old. And wait, her creatinine was 0.8.
wow.
I'm
You
telling you.
cry. That's too much.
I'm serious. I mean, come on. When they said that to me, I'm laying in the bed waiting to go down for surgery.
Wow.
She lived in Nevada. And I'm like, okay, so they can't tell you a lot of stuff, but they can tell you some basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, wait a minute. They say, Yvonne, we found you a kidney.
Mm-hmm.
She's an African American female. I said, okay.
Well, I gotta log off, girl.
You're crazy. She's 40 years old. I'm like, really?
Wow.
And then when they said her creatinine was 0.8.
Wow.
So
Oh
wait a minute. You ready for the kicker?
no, I'm not.
I've had this transplant now since 2008.
2008. Okay. Woo. Okay.
Normally, what happens with transplants when you have them over a longer period of time, so they're been out 10, 11, 12 years now, normally your creatinine, your kidney starts to deteriorate a little bit, right? That's what my creatinine has been since 2008.
What, 0.8?
0.8.
I'm gonna play the lotto tonight. I think all these people are talking about.
No, seriously. I went and had labs done, 0.8. It does not waver. Sometimes it's 0.81, but it's always 0.8.
I'll be talking to Tina every day, like what?
She made sure I got what I wanted.
Wow.
You know,
That is,
and I'm very thankful to that family in Nevada. And you know, it's just, and then that's when I knew, I'm like, there is no doubt.
Look,
there is a God. I mean, is that coincidence? Really?
No.
Is that coincidence?
No, that was all divine. That was all God. And
how could it be the same
He had a plan. He had a plan. If the plan
That's right.
He was,
Had a stroke. Tina had a stroke. She was a female. She was African American. She was the same age and had the same creatinine.
Yeah. But woo. I'm telling
you. Mine doesn't waver.
All right. Let me suck it up. Tammy said, "No, suck it up." Okay. It's really just like, it's just stuff that's amazing. I really think I'm crying because it's just God is amazing. I cry when I got to do with God and I see what God is doing and seeing what He's done, and my soul cries out. I'm just like,
that is amazing. Trust me.
Yes. Oh my gosh. She is just, oh my gosh. Okay. Your license plate. Tell me about the license plate. Okay. Your custom license plate. Okay.
Yeah. The John 14:14.
Yes.
Okay. So I got to tell you, the license plate John 14:14 was inspired by my high school teacher, Mr. Burris.
Oh, David Burris. Wait, David Burris? I'm sorry. Let me let you go. But no,
Mr. Burris, Anthony Burris. Yeah. So it was inspired by him. Mm-hmm. And he says, Yvonne, you can have anything you want in the world. Mm. God has given you a blank check. Mm. Blank check? What is he talking about? Mm. He said, anything you ask in His name, you can have.
Anything. I believe. Anything. I believe everything.
Everything. So I believe that. And when I've asked for things, I've gotten it. Things that I felt was impossible. Going to UCLA, having your mom drive me down to UCLA. That's not possible for somebody who is kidney transplant. Mm-hmm. That's not, what? Mm-hmm. You ask for it, you can have it. And I do believe that. And I believe it so much that I put it on my license plate. Mm-hmm. So it was first inspired by Mr. Burris, and then I just adopted it, and I've had it ever since I was 22.
That's awesome. David Burris.
Anthony Burris.
This is so, but Mr. Burris. So, okay, Mr. Burris. Yeah. He has I wonder if he has a son named David. This is David. Is his son named David? But I know he has a grandson named David Burris, and his grandson, is awesome. Like, he is just. You could tell that grandfather. You could just tell, just whoo. The Lord speaks through him like crazy. He has this marriage academy, marriage school now that I went through. I remember hearing him when I was joining. I was a member at Fresh Start, and David Burns was there, and he was talking about the matters of the heart. Yeah, that's when my little healing process started. I was like, ooh, yeah. So, great men. John 14:14. So I want to talk about, so at 17, was it 17 or 19 when you got the kidney?
17. Yeah, 17 I was diagnosed. Mm-hmm. 18 I got the transplant. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what did you stop going to school? Like, were you discouraged at all? What was next for you?
Well, I think at that time I wanted to be the manager of KFC.
You play too much.
I did. I was working at KFC with my Uncle Patrick, and I'm like, yeah, I could be a manager here.
I remember, you play too much.
I was serious. I could be a manager here. I do biscuits pretty good.
Okay, which is okay. It's okay. My first job was at KFC. I was making $5.15 an hour.
I was making $3.35.
$3.35.
I was rich, girl. I was rich. But I'll tell you, then the medication came around.
Okay.
And I remember the kidney transplant medication, one bottle for 30 days cost $880. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can afford this? That was just for one, and I had like 5.
Wow.
And so I went to my dad, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for all of this. Because you can only get like Medicare and medical support when you're transplanted after 3 years, and then you're on your own.
Okay. Wow.
And so Dad said, well, you better find you a good paying job that got benefits.
He played too much.
And so I did. And so it was funny. After talking with him, I was going to get labs done because I have to get, monthly labs, 6-month lab. Mm-hmm. There was this poster on the board at Outer Bates right in front of the lab saying phlebotomy class. Mm-hmm. Phlebotomy, what is that? But it was paying $17 an hour. My minimum wage was $3.35.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
if you're making $3.35 minimum wage and there's a job paying 17, you're rich. And
That's,
at 19, I'm like, you're rich. And
mm-hmm.
so I ended up taking the flyer.
Mm-hmm.
I inquired about it, became a certified phlebotomist, and then got my job at Kaiser.
I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
I started working at Kaiser.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaiser, I worked 20 hours a week.
Okay.
I worked Saturday, Sunday, and 4 hours on Monday while I was going to UC Berkeley.
Look
And
at you.
it was able to pay my medication. I only had to pay like $3 co-pays or whatever for that $800 bottle. And so I'm like, oh, I see what daddy's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Get a job with benefits and you don't have to pay that big time money.
So funny. Whew. Okay.
It was a lot. So that's, yeah, but it wasn't easy.
See, healthcare is so important, and then who get me thinking though, like really, because when we have this, with racial equity and people not having access to medical,
Right.
even just thinking about prevention, thinking about underserved communities who, based off your zip code, you'll have certain, you'll have McDonald's everywhere. You'll have KFC everywhere,
You have a food desert.
Food deserts. Yeah, the food deserts.
Right.
You won't have any Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or, we need more community farms, learning how to grow our own food and, healthy eating habits, even for parents, just thinking about parents, us being better examples for our children because they watch everything. So this is all this stuff, just speaking about just nutrition and, and then some things are just genetic, but I wonder what can prevent kidney failure?
Well, I don't know. To prevent kidney failure, you have to look at the history of particularly people of color and in particular African Americans, right? So you got to know that our diet, which has been passed down from slavery, and even when you go down south, people still eat the way, I had a friend who's from Tennessee tell me she wish she had a bowl of hog mogs right now and she can't find them in California, right? And I'm thinking to myself, that is so unhealthy. But that's what we do. So our diet has to be changed. I mean, we have to remember that the diet that was provided to us during slavery was throw me aways. They didn't care. But we didn't eat like that before we came to this land. We were vegetarians, we were hunters and gatherers. But now, I think, right now, I don't have the stats with me, but as an RN, African Americans, when it comes to any health disease, African Americans lead the way. So we're the highest percentage of people to have diabetes in the country. We're the highest percentage of people to have high blood pressure in this country.
Everything.
We're the highest percentage of people to have obesity in this country. We are the highest percentage of people to have cancer in this country.
And this is what's coming to mind right now. Because when you think about all of this, basically we're just the highest for everything, right?
We are.
All things in regards to health issues. And thinking about how we are, because I want to know, like, as far as having access to, like I said, we have these food deserts, even the eating habits. I mean, stuff be generational. We pass stuff down, and there needs to be more programs. And I want to shout out Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities, Yolo Solano, they're having some classes in December around nutrition. And so Catholic Charities it's a nonprofit, and it's really geared toward just, serving the underserved. And right now, like, they have the program with the rental assistance, and they're helping hundreds of people.
Right.
And I want to say some CARES funds, but it's in other cities and stuff too, maybe in other counties also. But education, being educated and just discipline, just really having a discipline, just eating healthier,
Yeah, it's hard. Change is a hard thing for people.
Yes.
Breaking habits are even harder. And so to prevent renal failure, really, you need to be in the best of health. I really believe what did it for us. No, I can't prove it.
Mhm.
I believe because we grew up on Kool-Aid, and I don't know, Tammy, if Tammy can witness this or not. We grew up on red Kool-Aid, and then come to find out, as I got older, that the dye.
The red 40 is banned in UK, but it's not banned here in the US. Is that what you're gonna tell me?
Yeah, it's something very close to that, right?
Because it's cancerous, though. The red 40 is cancerous.
Yes, but I think it stains your kidneys.
Who? So wait, have they proved that, or
No, I don't know. Yeah, but I believe
research?
that red dye plus all that sugar.
And then look what our kids like. Our kids love those the Tonka or the red Cheetos, the hot Cheetos. It's covered in
no good. Yeah, get rid of that.
Covered in that red 40. And then they even have had tutorials where when you could set it on fire, you could set the chip on fire and it would burn. Like that.
I saw that I saw that.
That's funny. Crazy. That's crazy. So it's this stuff we eat, and and then some people just don't, they just not fortunate. Like that's what they grow up on that. That's all they know. And that's all that they have access to. Let's just say that. That's all that they have access to. But go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, just from a clinical perspective, it's not just the fault of the community. I mean, I often laugh when people talk about health disparities. Mm-hmm. Oh, we have health disparities, which in a polite way is saying that other ethnic groups are having better health care than other ethnic groups, particularly African Americans, right? Mm-hmm. It's not really health disparity, it's just health racism. That's what it is.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell her what it is. Like, it's called what it is.
It's health racism. I mean, we know just from studies that, take, for instance, pregnant mothers who have C-sections are less likely to be checked for internal bleeding and actually die.
Wow.
Healthy mothers from not being checked. We also know that in medical institutes, if you go in for pain, that if you're African American, you're less likely to get pain medication than your other counterparts. We know these health disparities happen, or as I say, health racism. Mm-hmm. People just don't take you seriously if you're African American. The same thing is true when it comes to diet. So, for example, even if you had fruits and vegetables available to you, anybody who's ever gone out just to make a nice fresh salad, it costs so much money.
It does. We got to eat small portions. We got to make it work. No excuses. We got to make it work. We got to learn.
But I'm just saying, when you're on welfare and you don't have a lot of money,
that's true.
And you got to feed 3 or 4 kids.
That's true.
You're trying to figure out how to do that. I mean, you can't spend $20 on lettuce and tomatoes.
That's true.
So you could, but I'm saying people have found themselves in a crunch. And I just learned this from when I used to work as a case manager for Healthy Start.
So I wonder, see, when I attend this, because I'm going to attend this class through Catholic Charities, it's the nutrition. It's about nutrition. So I wonder, and I think WIC has it too. I can say that too, because WIC was having programs also. But there needs to be more programs around. Oh, and it's a class that I'm going to have to teach a nutrition class because, and shout out to Asha, Asha Jamila, Asha McDowell. She was one of my childcare providers, and she reached out to me this year. And what we did was we partnered up with a grant to bring gardens, to have the gardens at the childcare. And this is a way kids can be exposed to growing, gardening and seeing, because gardening could be therapeutic too, but also being able to grow food and see what that, how you do that. And also, so the nutrition classes are geared to teaching the parents about the importance of nutrition and also the importance of your child getting the nutrition that they need, because it's all a part of the brain development. That's what's a part of. You have a kid that's coming to, coming to school and they just, it depends on the mood and everything. We could get hangry, when we hungry and angry. And so, if there's a child that did not have access to food, and some kids, I'm not going to say most, but I don't know, but some kids don't have the access to the food. And so at school or at childcare, so funny, at school or at childcare, that's the only time that they get to eat healthy food.
That's correct. That's correct.
And I'm so serious about man, the providers, being in food program. So we have the food program for providers where we have to serve nutrition meals. So not all providers are in that because it does take work. Like you have to record, it's so much you have to do. But I'm working on something. But if only providers have the support that we needed, such as like schools, state preschools, we have to do everything on our own. We're the cook, we're the teacher, we're the nurturer, we're the nurse. We have to do so much. And we need support. And y'all so funny. You funny, Hakeem. Thank you for watching. Everyone that's viewing, thank you. But we need to expose our children to healthy eating habits. And I gotta.
You're right. There needs to be programs. There needs to be change in policies, and there also needs to be interventions and procedures that will have that to develop and grow. Because really, when I was working as a pediatric nurse, it was amazing that as I worked there for 15 years on the cancer floor, I noticed that we went from having just leukemia being a disease that at one point back in time was a disease, cancer blood disease that affected Caucasian children. But as time went on, I saw more and more kids of color, Filipino, Blacks, Hispanic kids coming in with leukemia, with a blood disorder. Now, just going back to what you said about the brain developing, right? It develops on a cellular level.
Okay, explain to people what that is.
So it starts with the cell when you're first born. You start out as a little round cell, and then you start to divide into being you. Anything you put into your body as a mother when the child is still developing is going to the child, and those cells are dividing all that soda and all the greasy food, and all of that's developing with the child as the child is expanding, and then it continues once you give birth and you're giving your child soda water, and we call it soda. What do y'all call it? Soda pop, sodas?
No, that's Uncle Rob call it soda pop.
Soda pops. That's what I said. Soda pops. Now we call it soda water. Whatever you want to call it. Now your kid is 3 years old drinking a Pepsi.
Poison. No, okay, go ahead.
Yes, it is. It is poison. And their little cells are still dividing to make their kidneys bigger, to make them taller. All of that is still being embedded in their cells.
So, and this has been my thing. It really has. And this is why I'm going to do what I need to do to really follow through with things as far as with Black infant health. Because, expectant mothers, thinking about, that's where it starts with. What is it that this mother is experiencing while she's caring for this child? Because everything that she's experiencing during her pregnancy, that child is affected by it.
Absolutely.
The child is.
From stress to nutrition to everything.
And it's transforming. Like that's what you're giving birth to. That
cellular development, yes.
That's what it is. And so we need more programs that will provide resources and services to expectant mothers. And I wish there would be more research. I pay attention, like to my children in my program. Like I have one of my babies, Aurora Williams. She was with me since she was 4 months old. That was the smallest baby I've ever took. 4 months old. She just turned 5 on Saturday. And it's so amazing and so rewarding watching these children grow up and looking at every case they have, because everybody has a different case. I have children who are in foster care, single mother homes.
Yes.
But you can see just the difference in all of them. Like I could really sit there and just like, okay, like just seeing the behaviors. I think about theorists and stuff like that. And I could just really sit up here and put some stuff together, be like, okay, I see this connection and this connection.
Right. And it's a big connection. Interestingly, working, and I think it was a wonderful experience. It's kind of an interesting experience. When you're a kidney transplanted, you have a very low immune system, which makes you susceptible to any other infections. So I always have to be careful. And people even said, don't work in a hospital. What if you catch something? What's wrong with you? You're going to be a nurse. You're going to catch something. However, when I worked in the pediatric floor with the children who had cancer,
Mm-hmm.
interestingly, they also had a low immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So we had low immune systems together.
Wow. Okay. You're so funny. Okay.
I'm serious. So when people would come in coughing, the kids would put on a mask, and me too. It's like, wait a minute, you got to get out of here. The kids would
Mm-hmm.
be saying, "Look, you got to go," and I'm saying, "Yeah, you got to go." And so we had that in common, and I was able to share that with the kids, and they were able to share their experience with me.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I noticed in terms of being able to thrive,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done a study on it, but just my observation is that those kids who had both parents
Mm-hmm.
present in
Mm-hmm.
their lives, and I mean caring, supporting parents, not parents who are,
Just
you
fair.
know, just were impaired themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Supporting parents, a mom and a dad that was there having their back, seemed to thrive better, in my opinion, than the single mom who did, who was trying to also take care of the kids at home, plus be here for the kid in the hospital,
It's a
or the
lot.
father who, showed up every once in a while and stole a feeding pump because he didn't want the mom to have it.
Mm-hmm.
The feeding pump was for the kid.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but those who had loving, caring, supportive parents, even if they didn't survive, seemed to do well.
That's that support. That's that sense of security. That's those needs. Meet those needs, and y'all know I'm gonna share those needs. I'm gonna drop them because I need everybody. Ooh, I'm gonna be giving out gift cards or something. If you could tell me real fast what are the 5 critical needs of a child. So the need to feel important, the need to feel included, the need to feel accepted, the need to be safe, and the need to feel secure. And I said respected, to be respected. But just to know that you are cared for and you love. I mean, love is the number one thing that we all yearn for. Just want some love, just show me love.
That's right.
Just be
And
there for me.
and it takes two people to make a baby,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes the support of two people to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
It takes that support,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And support social connections.
Yeah.
And which is
Not to say that single mothers haven't done it, because I mean, let me just be honest. I've seen some that are doing it, but you know, I don't know one that wouldn't say it would be great to have the support of the dad.
yeah. So we need to find out more alternatives, just alternatives. Like really, like 'cause this is what I think about. Um, I think about single mothers where you know if the father isn't around like that, put the child in sports. Get the child a mentor.
Yeah, get them
you
connected.
Which is very important. I shout out Mr. Brown, a great mentor to Brandon. Great mentor. Brandon is learning so much stuff,
That's
like
right.
great things, like, and he needs that. Tammy said she raised her hand.
Well, I didn't see it.
No, I don't think there's no reactions like that. Tammy, what you talking about?
See?
Huh? Said again. I don't know. We said something and her hand went up. Something. That's what I'm assuming.
Well, I'm saying, is she on the speaker?
Unless she raised both hands and praised the Lord. So, no, Yvonne. She in the comments. So let me just show you.
Well, she can't talk.
No, she can't talk. I mean, I can give her the link and she can come on.
Oh, hallelujah! I guess is. I don't know. Okay, Tammy.
Okay.
Okay,
I wish I could recall what we said, but we're just rolling.
I also wanted to say I was reading Fatima's comment. Lack of education. A lot of these mothers just do not know and don't even know where to go for these resources. And I got to be honest with you. When I was working at Healthy Start as an RN case manager, they really didn't know. They had no clue. It was like, what do I do? And it's like that. Have you heard of this, Jamila? I think it's called the 5 steps of knowledge. First, you don't know what you don't know. Like there's things out there in the world. I'm like, I don't know if you know what platyhelminthes is.
Tell me, just go and educate everybody.
No. I'm trying to make a point. If you've never heard of platyhelminthes, you never knew about it. But then the next step is that you've heard about it, but you still don't know. So like at first you never knew what platyhelminthes was. but I know I brought it up, so I brought it into your existence.
I'm go. Let's go. Mm-hmm.
Then I said, well, it's a flatworm, right? So now
Mm-hmm.
you're learning about it. Then you move on and say, well, I'm going to study about flatworms on my own, and you then become an expert, right? So I think she's right. There are people out there that just don't know that things out there exist.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Mm-hmm.
know what resources are available to them.
That is true, and that's what it is. That's all it is lack of resources. I'm big on outreach. Okay,
And making them aware that the resources are available.
that's what
That's the other thing.
Like that's what it is. Outreach is important. It's a key.
It is key.
I'm just learning. It's just stuff is. We yeah. We need to be at these tables. We need to know there's things out there for people, and people want to share the information, but not everybody know. Not everybody knows. So it's very important. I told Fatima, like, Fatima's experienced stuff. I mean, we've all experienced things. I was thankful enough to have a resource binder that helped me and get certain resources that I needed. It wasn't health-wise, but just resources. I mean, stressors. You got an eviction notice. Ooh, that's stressful. Like,
that's very stressful.
When
we have children too.
When basic needs aren't being met. So I was talking to somebody about this earlier today. When your basic needs aren't being met, right? Food. If a child don't even have access to a food, parents don't have access to food. And then what's the next one? Come on, Maslow hierarchy of needs.
That's right. It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Right.
Shelter, food,
clothing,
and being able to provide money. Then before you can even get to self-actualization, right?
Right.
To do the things you want to do, you got to first take care of those basic common needs. You can't even focus on education if you're homeless.
That's true. So, but if you lack in the resources to that, I'm just so big on self-sufficiency. Being able to have these resources that are available, to be able to have the social connections, to be able to have education on child development, workshops, trainings. There are things that are out there. They're out there. There needs to be more created, but there's things out there, and it's just being connected to someone who is very resourceful. And no, it starts with just, you need help. Don't be prideful. Just ask for help. Just ask. Asking is really a skill, or even being able to listen to what people are going through and to be able to, like, do you need any help with anything, or sharing the resources. Don't be no resource hoarder. Like, just help somebody. Tell them.
That's right.
Tell them about Jesus.
Yeah, no, really. And I think being able to share my story, like I said to you earlier, I didn't think it was a big deal. I just do what I do. I mean, I don't think that it was a big deal that I was on dialysis, going to nursing school.
That's big.
I didn't think it was a big deal. I just I got to do what I got to do. But when you believe that God will help you through, you'll get through it. I mean, I was doing my clinical rotations during the day. I was going all over town, all over to different units just to dialyze. Because I don't believe in making excuses. Like you say, whatever has to be done, just do it, get it done, and I'm a big believer in that. But I also have challenges as well, just like everybody else, God tries to lead you in the direction he wants you to go. And of course, you have your own ideas. And I'm always quick to say, hold on, God, I got this. I got this one now. Just let me just show you I got this one.
And what we do, we mess it up. We mess it
That's
all
right, every step of the way. I'll never forget, Jamila. When I was working at Kaiser Oakland, I wanted to go downtown to 1800 Harrison. That was big time at Kaiser if you made it downtown, right?
That's housing, the housing thing?
No, 1800 Harrison was Kaiser's, what they call that white building by the lake.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
And every time I applied for a job, I never got accepted. I never got the job. Then finally, an opportunity opened, and it was that compliance job for Northern California Kaiser. I'm going downtown.
So you've been with Kaiser. So
I've been with Kaiser off and on all my life. Yeah.
So tell me about your school journey, just real fast. Just tell me, where you graduated from, where you went to college at, And then
Okay.
what you do?
So I started out at UCLA
Mm-hmm.
with the assistance of your mother,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to be in college, away from home, but not too far.
Mm-hmm.
And then my kidneys failed, and I had to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but then transferred to UC Berkeley. So I got my bachelor's at UC Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was working at Kaiser in health plan regulatory services. And then I went on and got my master's in organizational psych in 92. Then moved up in Kaiser, uh, doing some of their regulatory compliance stuff and their change agents. Then I went, and then when I decided I wanted to make a career change, I wanted to go to nursing. Started out at San Francisco State, but I was on dialysis, so I was sick. So I ended up going to Contra Costa. I'm like, why pay all that money? I'm just going to be an RN.
You want to be a comic. You know, it's okay to be a
There you go. And I got my RN from there, and then went back and got my BSN. And now thinking about, I mentioned to you, I have an interview to do my doctorate in public health. I do think that change of policy for the community is important.
I'll be right there with you, girl. We're going to be studying
together. They got a 4-in-1 program. You can do your bachelor's and do your 1 year for your MSN at Berkeley. Let's do it together.
Listen, I'm not playing, Yvonne, because I remember nursing.
You know I'm not. I'm about to do it. I'm sitting here with associates, two bachelors and a master's. I'm about to get my PhD. You better come on, girl.
You did everything you wanted to do. It was you really that inspired me to go to school. You pushed me. I think about nursing. I was going for nursing. It was so funny because I always wanted to do child development, right? That's what I wanted to do. Then you was like nursing. I remember taking a prereqs for nursing, and it all had to do with child development because those were the prereqs about the lifespan and everything. And I did, and I was like, I'm just caring for people, just wanting to care for people. That's just my thing. Like I love the old people. I love the children. I love the babies. I really do love the babies. If I could just be there for the expectant mothers, do all I can with them, and let me care for your baby, because then I can see everything. If the parent be real with me and, we talk about everything they've been through, then I care for your baby because now I know your baby very well because I know the mother very well. And I can be sure that child gets everything they need, or even knowing, even this, meeting with parents, if they had a screening with parents, with children, thinking about the services or needs that weren't met for the parent, finding ways to then meet those needs for the child. Because it's so important.
And this is why I think, right now I work as a public health nurse. I've done a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm working for the state of California as a public health nurse. And even though I'm helping advocate for seniors and skilled nursing facilities and things like that, it's nice to be in that kind of a role. But more so now, I think, looking back, it's more important to be able to be the decision maker, to make change in the policies, to make change in the procedures.
Wait. You got to run it back. So what are you doing right now? Because I love you. Like I do. I'm so proud of you. It's just like
you're crazy.
Proud of yourself. Be proud. No. I'm talking right now. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of your accomplishments, everything that you are doing, just everything that you've overcome, everything you've been through, and yet you still done got through it. You inspire me. I'd be like, Grips, it's okay to share it. Like, you are you're doing good things, and you should be proud of it. We should be proud of things that we're accomplishing and that we're doing. We don't have to come off, that's just people, being cocky or anything. No, like, this is what I accomplished. That's okay to share that because it would inspire somebody, because it inspires me. When I'm hearing all your stuff, every time I talk to you and you celebrate, I'm celebrating with you. Like, bring me with you.
I'm celebrating with you. I'm telling you, we should go right on up to Berkeley and get our PhDs in public health and make some changes.
I'm serious, Okay?
I'm not playing with you.
But we're gonna see what Lord. We're gonna pray about it. Whatever Lord say go to me, I'm going. Okay.
I know. Hey, I'm gonna help you go. We go together. Okay. I've always wanted to have a classmate, a family mate, or somebody to go with me to college.
Okay.
But yeah. So I'm telling you, that's where I make change. So right now, I'm working with the California Department of Public Health, and I do investigations and surveys. But I really now feel like I want to be in a position to make change in policies, to make change in the procedures, and to implement interventions that really impact the community. That's now where I'm headed.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Jamila, I appreciate you having me on. I really do.
you. And I thank you for
Love
coming.
you back.
I love your story. It's amazing. I hope that people that were listening were encouraged. You guys would come on here every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, there would be a guest to share just their amazing story that will empower you all. You guys, I didn't speak about ACEs, but go on and look at acestoohigh.com. Find out what your ACE score is, and which is very important. I pray that everyone have a safe holiday. People are dealing with things, losses and everything. And it's hard. It's hard. It was stuff I wanted to talk about that I didn't even bring up, Yvonne, because I didn't know how you was feeling to bring anything up. So we go through things. We go through stages of grieving and stuff. And I need to.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. And I just pray that everyone have a safe holiday. Be careful out there. Shoot, God's plan. Now I'm sitting up here thinking, because it's people at home. Just these holidays, people out drinking, driving, and it's so like, when people need kidneys and stuff like that, it's like, people don't want to be praying on somebody's death just to get a kidney or, just to get something, but stuff happens. Okay. And we need to be careful when we're out there. Don't drink and drive. Drink responsible. Think about your family. Call loved ones up that you haven't spoke with. Check on them. Check on your friends. Check on that friend who had a loss, who had recent loss, or it could have been a loss from 2 years. I mean, people grieve for a long time. Check up on them and see how they're doing. And again, you guys, we'll be here every Wednesday. Vallejo, Solano County. Check out Catholic Charities, YOLO Solano, and check out those classes that they'll be having in December. If I'm not mistaken, they're virtual, so really anyone can take them. It's about nutrition. We have to change the way we eat. We have to change our eating habits. We have to take our health more serious, and we have to model great eating habits for our children. We have to break cycles of eating the soul food. We're gonna tear some soul food up tomorrow.
I know, I'm about to put my sweet potato pies on. I mean, I'm just gonna tell you, I didn't make my sweet potato cheesecakes, but I just want to just say one thing, Jamila. Once again, African American people are the most in need of kidney transplants, and the least likely to get one. Right? So, really,
why is that?
Because we don't donate. We don't. We're going to heaven with ours, baby. We need to donate. We need to donate. We really need to consider that. We can save many lives. So many people die on dialysis without getting transplants, and there's so many people out there.
So why don't donate? I'm saying we just don't.
Leonia says, "Come on, sweet potato pies. You got to try the sweet potato cheesecake. Now that's the hit."
Yeah, that's what you make. You making that tonight?
And no, I'm just doing pies and a sweet potato pound cake. That's it.
Well,
I appreciate you having me on, Jamila. Thank you. I wanted to say I signed Maisha's name up there somewhere. Wanted to shout out to her.
Maisha who? That's my homegirl, Maisha. You know Maisha?
Nope, I don't know this Maisha. Sorry. But hi, Maisha. Thanks for listening. I thought it was another Maisha. Forget it.
That's my homegirl.
I know a lot of people.
Yeah, I know you do. We about to do some work together. That's what we about to do. So anyways, thank you all so much for attending Bounceback Wednesday with your host, Jamila Hanif. I will see you all next week at 6 to 7 p.m. You could join me right now onto Friendship Missionary Baptist Church Bible Study, because FMBC is the place to be. You guys have a good night.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jamila.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.